Hi everyone, this is Karina Dean and you are tuned in to the Cycle Breaker channel. This is another video and you are tuned in to the Cycle Breaker channel. I'm Karina Dean and I am presenting Cycle Breaker channel to you to help continue to end the cycle, the karmic cycles of ignorance. This video is to give you some advice on how to read horoscopes in the most authentic way. This is also just breaking down furthermore of this misunderstanding to the masses about what astrology really is. Here's the first thing. If you are ready to break the cycle of the ignorance of astrology and start to understand the power of astrology, you're going to have to look up your natal chart. The natal chart is an imprint, a map of the sky at the time that you were born, and you can do this online, and there are various platforms of astrology, so I don't want to confuse things, but it's important because you are going to need to know some other aspects of your chart just beginning off if you're going to want to really take horoscopes and understand them in the power that they are really there for you. So it's going to be essential for you to know your rising sign, which is, or the ascendant sign. It's going to be essential for you to know your moon sign, and more than likely you already know your sun sign, which is what most people identify with in astrology, you know, the time of the year that they were born. So when you look at a horoscope, you typically look at your sun sign. That's what you're looking at. That's the identity. The sun shines the brightest. And so the sun is source, it's energy. And in the superficial Western magazine horoscopes, newspaper horoscopes, they take the sun sign and they just exploit it. And they pretty much leave you without anything else and understanding it. When you're reading horoscopes, you want to look at your sun sign, and you also want to look at the rising sign. Number 2, I would also recommend to read the moon sign, because the moon is very essential. The moon is more internal, so when you read the moon sign, it might be more of what is going on within you instead of advice of what is going on with you in the rest of the world. So it's more of an internal advice. So if your moon is in Sagittarius, your sun is in Taurus, and your rising is in Libra, you know, I'd recommend to read Taurus and Libra to get an understanding of the energy and the season of the energy from you to the world. And I'd recommend to read the Sagittarius, if your moon in Sagittarius, to read what might be internally going on for you. Every chart is different. I really do feel like you have to know your chart, because I also believe that you should know the ruler of your chart. And this is done in several ways. Usually the ruler has something to do with the rising sign. So let's say if your rising sign is Libra, the ruler of your chart is Venus. I think that the Mars sign is also essential, because Mars is the energy and the drive that you go towards. So if you have a strong Mars position, you might want to read that sign too. So this is just really, really beginners, for the people who just need to know really quickly, or want to understand horoscopes, or want to read them in a better way. That would be my advice: to know your rising, you already know your sun, know your moon, know your Venus, know your Mars, because where those positions are, you might want to read the sign horoscope for that too. Know the planetary ruler of your chart, because the planetary ruler of your chart might also hint to the significance of what sign is, what sign season would be more resonant to you. Because Western astrology is more about the seasons, I feel. It's more about the energy that is like in this time period, you know. So with Western astrology, you can see it more as like the seasonal energy, you know, like when winter comes, you know, to wear your coat. So it's like that's how I interpret Western astrology. And yeah, so in a lot of ways, Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about you can read every horoscope and they can all be very much so resonant. They can all work for you. It's true. And then, but it doesn't mean that you override astrology as fake. It means that you just really need to understand how to work it and how to use it. Now, with that being said, once you start to get really serious about astrology, I'd stop with the magazine horoscopes and I'd stop with the newspaper horoscopes, honestly. So if you want to break ignorant cycles even more, once you're done skimming through the real basic knowledge of astrology, I'd recommend to start finding some individual astrologers online who resonate with you, with their speech pattern or their delivery or their message. See, astrology is an art, just like an art, you know, music artist has their own unique imprint. An astrologer has a very specific way of seeing the world, and so how they interpret the astrology to you will be through their own eyes. The lessons and the energies are universal, so everybody understands what Scorpio is. Everyone understands, you know, to a degree what Virgo is, but how the astrologer is, just how the deliverer is, will resonate with you or not. And that's the beauty of astrology, is that most of us who study it understand these things. You know, at the end of the day, you become your own guru by using your own intuition and just really seeing what resonates with you. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's just about getting the right information that helps you on your journey. So once you are ready to start really going deep into astrology, when you really want to get authentic horoscopes on a weekly or daily basis, here are some of the people that I would recommend to start looking up. This is how I started. I jumped from the newspapers and magazines. I started learning how to read horoscopes in newspapers and magazines, and then when that was over and when I was done with that and I really was deep into my natal chart, I really started looking for a face and an authentic platform that presented the message of astrology. The people that I listen to and I follow a lot are Kelly Rosano. I think that her message is really one of light and inspiration. She's also a little bit older, so she has just a lot more of a mature way of delivery, and understanding of, you know, just how to attack the season. I really love Nadia Shah. Nadia Shah is a beautiful woman who really delivers the message that the universe is there to help you, and even through difficult times the universe is there to help you. Another person who I love is David Palmer. He is also known as the Leo King, and his delivery is really exuberant, very theatrical. As a artist and a theater background person like myself, I really love him because he really just is quite abundant with his delivery. He has a lot of depth to him too, so it's not shallow. It's very, very truthful. It's straight to the point, but it has a really like vibrant delivery. So I really love Alicia Sharp. Alicia Sharp is now we're getting into astrologers whom I don't think do horoscopes, but they are great for starting to learn when you want to start learning your own natal chart. Alicia Sharp has aspects, and she helps you to understand the planets. She has a great series on the moon and the rising, so you can start understanding the rising. Just a really organic and beautiful delivery. And Astrolada, I think she's also an essential astrologer for, she does horoscopes, she does monthly horoscopes, and she does aspects and transits in your chart so that you can learn the aspects in your natal chart. She's a newer astrologer that I just met, very, very intuitive with his work, and I can tell that he really speaks straight from the soul. Gemini Brown, and he has started a video series on moon and the signs, and has also done the midhaven. I just recently watched his video on the sun. I just found out about Gemini Brown, but I think he's fantastic. And also, you don't have too many astrologers. There are people of color, and I'm really happy to see that there are more coming to the surface and at least exposing themselves. So Gemini Brown is great for the young people, and he's great for, you know, people of color. To see somebody of color doing astrology work is really inspiring. So I hope that helps you in understanding how to read a horoscope and really breaking the cycles of the ignorance of how people treat astrology. And I hope that my list for you, my recommendation list, will help you in starting your journey in learning astrology. So thank you very much. And this is Karina Dean from the Cycle Breaker blog and channel, and I'm really grateful for you to continue to watch my videos and to support my work as I continue to break down the ignorant cycles being passed on in all walks of life. Thank you again. Bye now.